So I thought it was a thoughtful conversation, good dialogue, substantive, but I don't see anything meaningful coming out of this panel, much less Washington, D.C. D.C. right now lacks the domain expertise or the will to go after big tech. Where you might see it is one out of Brussels, or two, possibly even out of a red state whose attorney general sees the brightest blue line path between the AG's mansion and the governor's mansion as a populist argument against big tech. But the war against big tech is going to break out where all the major conflicts of the 20th century broke out, and that is continental Europe. D.C., this will be seen as largely a nothing burger.
So no regulation whatsoever coming out of Capitol Hill, you think?
I don't think so. I think they're outgunned, and I don't think they have the domain expertise. I just don't see regulation. And personally, I don't think that's the right way to go. I think where you may see some momentum and the logical, and I would argue the place it should come from is the FTC or the DOJ. I think this is an antitrust issue, not a regulation issue. But
you believe that some of these companies are so big that on their face are just so big that they ought to be broken up?
Well, why did Google not find time to send a senior executive to testify at the request of elected senators? One reason, 93. They have a 93% market share. They don't need to show up. And so far, D.C. has been toothless and somewhat incompetent regulating them. So I think big tech has effectively become more powerful than the Senate. I don't, 93% of the time we try and figure out how intention is going to correlate to action. When you type in how to make a dirty bomb or should I buy a gun, the organization and the algorithm that figures out what you're going to see next, 93% of the time is one organization, and I can go one by one across anti-competitive behavior, not putting in place the safeguards. Sheryl Sandberg oversees an operating unit that put in place no safeguards that questionably or arguably undermined subterfuge our democracy.
Why is size the problem, though, Professor? Why is size the problem? Why is the sheer fact that Facebook is so big the problem, and the reason, maybe in part at least, why there were no safeguards put in place?
I think when you get to this size, you have the capital, the power, the influence to effectively be immune from competition. So I think at this point, it's very difficult for any app to get any sunshine. Facebook has a technology that goes out and registers if an app is getting traction. If it is getting traction, it adopts those features into its own app. If they still can't kill the app, they go out and buy it. So I would argue if you have one company that's four of the 5 largest apps in the world, and this is largely an app economy, is controlled by one company, you end up in an economy where infanticide is performed on small companies, new business formation is at a 40-year low, and larger companies that are traditionally better employers and better taxpayers are being prematurely euthanized. They're not evil, they haven't done anything wrong, they're doing their job, but we're at a natural point in the economic cycle where these companies become so big and influential, we need to oxygenate the marketplace by breaking them up, the same way we did with Ma Bell and the railroads.